I learned recently that Stanford Public Schools is collaborating with Stanford-based youth development organization INTEMPO to continue offering high-quality classical and intercultural music education to SPS New Arrivals Classroom, also known as NAC, which supports kids in grades 1 through 12 who have been in the U.S. for at least a year or less and have minimal English, providing these English language development courses. And so I wanted to talk about the connection between music and English learners in Stanford. And so joining us right now is Douglas Laustsen, who is the manager of education. Good morning to you, Douglas, and welcome to WICC. How are you?
Morning, Melissa. I'm doing well. Thank you.
I want to talk, first of all, about NAC and INTEMPO. For people who are not familiar, can you give us more detail behind this?
Yes. So INTEMPO is a 12-year organization. We are a music education organization based in Stanford, serving largely the immigrant population in Lower Fairfield County. And we've been doing this work with students, starting with our founder, who herself is a musician and an immigrant. And she really wanted to create the organization that would have best supported her when she was growing up. And so we were teaching music, but we're doing that to help develop the whole child and really help close the opportunity gap for these students. After doing that work for a number of years, we saw an opportunity to work directly with the school district and work with the students in the schools, doing the same sort of work, helping them to just grow as people, but in a different context. And we first started working with new arrivals class 3 years ago. And as you said, these classes are really unique experiences. They're students coming from all over the world, and they've all been in Stanford for under a year. And we're using music to help them feel a greater sense of belonging in their new homes, help them feel more engaged in school. And we're also helping to support the language acquisition curriculum that their teachers are providing in just a different modality. So we're supporting the learning they're already doing, but we're doing it with music.
So explain that a little bit more, if you don't mind, Douglas. Why music? Why would music be something, as you said, that would create more well-rounded people who are trying to get their bearings here in Stamford, Connecticut?
Well, primarily, research shows that music can help with language acquisition. And so that is why we began pursuing this. And we use the same curriculum, the same vocabulary that students are learning, and we find songs that align with that vocabulary and give them hopefully a less, in some cases, stressful way to engage with that vocabulary.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think one of the things that you don't need per se language completely is music. Once you learn the notes, that's something universal. Notes are notes no matter where you are in the world, and music is music. It's kind of one of those, at least that's how some people describe it, as it's a universal language. Everybody can connect to some type of music.
Exactly. And another thing we do with these students, for students who have just arrived and may feel very uncomfortable in their new surroundings, we also bring ukuleles into class with them.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
And so if there's a student who's coming into this class and it's day one with us, and they may be very uncomfortable with the new instructions, there's a lot going on, we can put a ukulele in their hand and they can be participating in the class within 5 minutes and hopefully feel a sense of comfort with that.
I love that. And again, we have Douglas Laustsen here, who is the manager of education for INTEMPO. And Douglas, tell us, if you don't mind, INTEMPO, I think it's an incredible organization, and I love the work that you're doing. Have other school districts reached out to you? I know you mentioned that you've been collaborating with Stanford for several years. Have other school districts reached out?
We also do a similar program in Norwalk, where we're working with their dual language programs. In that setting, we're doing very similar things with the students, but we're doing songs in both English and Spanish to support the dual language learning that they're doing.
Wow. When you say that you're serving students who are English learners, ballpark, on average, how many kids are you guys working with per year?
So in 2023, we worked with over 700 students through all of our
Wow.
partnerships and our own programs.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's our summer camp, our own after-school program, our work in Stanford Public Schools, both this new arrivals program as well as some other enrichment programs. So we're seeing students all day, every day, all year round.
That's amazing. Are there ever wait lists or anything for kids to get involved with this, or is it anybody is welcome?
So we have open enrollment, and in some of our programs we do have a wait list, but we're actually right now enrolling for some of our after-school programs right now in piano and some other instruments. You can find out more at INTEMPO.org. For some of our programs, we do have a wait list, and with our partnership programs, those are students that our partners have identified, and we are working with them. And I know there is just a lot of need in all of these areas. So while we don't see their wait list, I know that they have their own as well.
So take me inside one of the classes, Douglas, if you don't mind. Douglas Laustsen is here. He is the manager of education for INTEMPO, and we're talking about how music is being integrated in with English learners for Stanford Public Schools. What happens in one of the classes, Douglas, just to give me an idea?
Yeah, so one of our teaching artists will come in, and all of these classes are elementary age classes. They are mixed age a little bit, so they have kindergartners, first grade, or second graders, for example, in one class. And we'll start with some group activities to get the students comfortable, maybe talking to each other, singing to each other, some welcoming activities each day. And then we will bring out the ukuleles, and we will help teach them some new skills and review some skills on the ukuleles with them for some time. And then we will start singing songs with them. And, for example, sometimes they're holiday songs, so we're doing some holiday songs right now so that they can learn a little bit about cultures and traditions here in America, and it's an opportunity for them to ask questions or just interact with things that are brought up in these songs. And then we do a closing where we say goodbye to them, see you next week, and we're doing this also through song where they're engaging and active through the entire class experience.
That's incredible. And if you want to learn more about INTEMPO and the work that they do with hundreds of students per year, you can go to their website, intempo.org. And Douglas Laustsen, I want to thank you for the work that you and all the folks at INTEMPO do, especially in Stanford Public Schools. We really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa. And yes, the work Stanford is doing is so incredible. They really understand their diverse students and their needs. So thank you.
It sounds like it, and we really appreciate you again. Douglas Laustsen, who is the manager of education for INTEMPO, right here on WICC.